First thing we're gonna do is pledge allegiance, is pick a flag and stand up and face it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Guys, a record crowd, I would say. And most of you are actually members, so that's great. Our featured speaker is a little bit late, so we can do things a little differently. And you know, I'm known as a smiley, cheerful person. Would most of you say that? Yeah. Well, you should be like that for a few minutes here. Do that. And it pains me, really, to be this way. For the past few weeks, across social media, there have been postings by the River Oaks Civic Association president about the Central Beach Alliance Civic Association president. In the postings, the River Oaks president says the CBA president is a racist and should be stripped of all civil boards and duties. If you don't believe me, you can go out and look for yourself.
You don't believe her? Just ask me. I'm 100%. You're out of order, sir. You're out of order.
Even the council has been threatened with mass civic associations dropping out of the CBA if the CBA president becomes president of the council. Here's what happened. During last week's conference meeting, the CBA president used the word rapper in a wrong way, indicating rappers were a source of foul language and violence in regards to a proposed music event for the beach. There was a healthy discussion about this event, the contract, and the calendar for the event. For the complete details, please watch the YouTube video of the meeting. Many of the issues were resolved and fixed, along with the CBA president's apology, using rappers the wrong way and admitted his own ignorance in using the word that way. Okay, now, let's go back 40 years when I started a job working for Resorts International Paradise Island Resort Casino, now known as Atlantis in the Bahamas. Several of my coworkers, including the president of the property, were from Jamaica. We were a great team, worked well together, and had a good time. Most of them are still my friends to this day. My Jamaican coworkers had several really cool sounding ways of cursing. When they were driving a car and someone wronged them on the road, or they dropped their lunch, or something like that. It was always entertaining. Remember, this is back in the 80s, there were a lot less people. I never got a description of what these words meant, and I didn't use them myself until about 2 years later, and for whatever reason, at a contentious executive meeting in the Bahamas, I became so frustrated that stream of Jamaican curse words came out of my mouth. So, you know, I can still say them to this day. It was obvious that me saying those words at that meeting were way wrong. I apologized immediately. I was totally humiliated and slunk around for days from my mistake. Fortunately, I was good at my job and I was able to recover, and I went on to bigger and better things at that company. Fortunately, the CBA president is good at his job, but will be able to recover and keep serving the community. You know what the biggest difference is between these two events besides 40 years? Social media. Social media, which can cause all kinds of suffering for a person on the wrong end of another's angry keyboard. I know some have evidence of worse things said online by the River Oaks president and would like to retaliate. I'm asking you not to do that. Let us not all become bullies. No good will come of it. We are better than that. Would you all agree?
Yes. Yeah.
As neighborhood leaders, we need to support each other and not be slinging hurtful cyber insults at each other. Remember, if the council is being dragged to the dirt online, that is you, all of you, being dragged through the dirt. If someone can drag a civic association leader through the dirt, know they can do the same to you. I ask again for this behavior to stop. Going forward, let's forgive each other. Let's get over past transgressions And let's work together to support our city and take care of each other. Thank you.
Yes, amen.
All right, now, let's change direction. We have our Fort Lauderdale Police, actually have our sergeant here, and he's got some help there, and I think he's just gonna give a little speech.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Just because it's the first meeting of the year, we just wanted to come. I see we have quite a busy agenda. We just wanted to come and introduce ourselves. We're the community support unit for the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, which means we do community outreach with community leaders like yourselves and also with some of the youth and programs out there in the community. In addition, any problems or concerns that pop up that are police related in your individual communities, feel free to reach out. I'd like to give a little extra attention. And that's kind of our job, as we don't have to respond to 911 calls, so we can we're tasked with handling some of the community concerns. As for that, we just want to come out and introduce ourselves, remind you to reach out if you ever need anything. And also we brought, as if any of you remember from last year, we have our Where's Your Fob campaign, education campaign that is designed to suppress auto thefts, which is one of our biggest issues. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit in the back if you'd like to pick up some for yourself, and if it's something that you'd like a few more of to put around your association, then you can reach out to us and we can make sure that some more of those get delivered out there to you out in the your community so you can place them out. Other questions? I think you're good.
I just want to remind everyone that majority, and I'm talking about majority, at least 80%, if not more, of vehicle burglaries and auto thefts is because people leave their cars unlocked and or their key fobs in their vehicles. So make sure you spread the word to your neighbors. Please take your belongings out, lock your car, do not leave your key fobs or firearms in your vehicle.
One question there.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment because Officer Rodriguez explained to us at our last meeting that one of the thefts in Coral Ridge Isles was breaking into one car, finding the key fob of another car and stealing that car. So it isn't just don't keep your key fob in the car, it's don't keep any key fobs in the car.
That makes sense.
It kind of sounds weird, but it seems like it's more of like a carpooling thing. People go to someone's house and they all take one car somewhere and they leave, their key fobs in there and then.
It's another that, and the same thing with garage door openers. So if all somebody has to do is kind of punch open your window and hit the button, now they have access to your garage. And also lock the deadlock between your garage and your house.
And we had an incident in Coral Ridge a couple years ago where somebody drove home a brand new, I don't know, very expensive car. I don't think it was a Rolls Royce, but it was along that way. And it was new and the guy wasn't used to the idea of having a key fob in his car and left it in the car and it was gone the next morning. It didn't even have it 24 hours. And then I think just a few days later, his wife left her key fob in her Mercedes. This is not my neighbor, and that was stolen. And so it's just people, I think, are getting more used to the fobs as they really are keys.
Any chance you're finding, a lot of friends that are having their key on their phone instead of carrying a key fob? Are you finding any changes or maybe less break-ins because of that, or we wouldn't have the
That's not
numbers?
something we would be tracking yet,
Yeah.
but in terms of just auto burglaries and auto thefts specifically, remember the new model cars with the mirrors that kind of pull in and out. That can kind of make you a target. So that's one of those things where you have to make sure you are locking your car. They do know, hey, if they drive by in that particular model, the windows or the mirrors are in the wrong position. They know that the car door is unlocked. It's something to keep an eye on as we as that kind of progresses, technology progresses. Kind of, we'll see.
How much actual hard crime happened during this Christmas period in Fort Lauderdale?
So I'd have to get those specific numbers for you, but when you say hard crime, what's it?
Well, I mean, I hear of car thefts and petty break-ins here and there, but are there any muggings? Are there any, serious stuff going on around? Because I'm not hearing about it, and yet I hear people afraid to walk on the riverfront, afraid to do this, afraid to do that, and I'm like, where is this information coming from?
So occasionally incidents like that do happen. If you want to get with us, we can give you specific timeframes and instances. We can break those numbers down for you. What area are you, what association do you?
I'm in the Tarpon River. but-
Okay, all right, so we'll get with you and we'll
Yeah.
make sure and somebody can come out, we can break down those numbers for you and your association at the next meeting if you want, and we can get with you, but it's it does happen, but in terms of like hard crime, if what you're referring to is the
Serious stuff.
yeah, part one crimes, which is like kind of what we report to the FBI, I would assume, so yeah, so that's the kind of thing
I
that.
mean, anything above, I mean, like mugging,
Like violent felonies.
violent,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of those things that there hasn't been any kind of substantial increase in that
No.
over the past year, but that's definitely something that we can come and
Thank you.
talk to you about.
Thank you. So they're gonna hang out. Oh.
Yeah.
You'll have those in that.
They're in the back here. There's not a whole lot, so just kind of divvy them up.
All right, thank you. And I saw, oh. Come on down. Oh, that's right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
evening.
Hello, so those of you who I don't know who this is. This is Commissioner Dr. Pamela Beasley. And I'd like to say that Mr. And Fort Lauderdale born and raised. We're all in District 3?
All in this.
All right, that's impressive. Are you still the president of Historic Dorsey? Okay, I didn't think it would be that same, but you were.
Ruben Nesbitt is.
Ruben's not here, okay, but,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. And, you're the founder of Unified Central Broward Neighborhood Alliance. Yeah. Still want to come to some of those meetings. And an ordained minister, so if you can like confess. you take confess. I can get right now. Okay. All right. And then I read in your leisure time, you like. Can you let us know when you're gonna do that next time and where that would?
Probably in about 3 weeks in Lewiston.
Wow. What is that? Skydiver.
I'm a
Skydiver.
All right. So many ways. Now, I also have to say that Dr. Beasley as like the best cheerleader, I know he's here, in the world, Mr. Wayne. Oh, there he is, right there.
How y'all doing, everybody? That's my real, I'm sticking around. A lot of things to do, but I'm doing it in my life.
What grade were you in when you told her you were gonna marry her?
I think it's 6th grade.
Is that a fun story?
I always tell it, I kept my word. Sit down now.
Some are clearly advocates for District 3 in the city. Oh, I'm not let you go ahead. You appreciate that? What's that?
Everybody's sitting.
I love this. No, that's okay. I'm gonna move back. No, that's fine. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, that's. Yes.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. This is my first opportunity to come and be, I guess it's speaker. I don't know what we're doing tonight, but I'm one that, I enjoy great dialogue. We'll go ahead and whatever direction that you all normally go in, we can go in that direction. I want to say hello to staff that's in the room. I know you all know that Susan Grant here is in the room with us and so many others. Thank you all for being here. Support, thank you. Okay, and y'all met my husband Wayne. So I see a lot of familiar faces. I feel sort of comfortable. Hello, everybody on the wall. This is a good turnout. Years ago, when I was HOA president, the room was kind of filled, but it wasn't. This is really good.
Yeah, it's good.
This is really good. Okay. All right, so whatever direction we normally go in, I was just told, have an invitation, show up. So I'm here. I'm here.
So maybe we could, maybe you can help me with this.
Okay.
I feel, or it seems to me that a lot of people that are in District 3, and a lot of other districts, but especially District 3, they're working, both spouses are working, maybe one or two have two jobs. They have kids, you know, they have a lot, they don't have a lot of spare time to be involved, you know, with their neighborhoods, things like that. Is there any way that, you know, we can involve them more, even though they have such full schedules? Is there any vehicle that you can think of that we could help?
Well, what I've been talking with my neighbors in District 3, yes, you have identified and said it correctly. We are basically a community of working individuals that usually have multiple jobs, that are usually parents at the time. So focus is not solely on civic, but they are concerned about the city. But they don't have the necessary time at times to be in the place. What we try to do, we engage through social media with those who are capable of connectivity, because you all hear me say it all the time. District 3 does lack connectivity with broadband, Wi-Fi. It's really almost non-existent. There's times that I'm on the phone, I have to go outside and talk on the phone outside, and that's even with a extender. We have purchased extenders in our home so we can have additional Wi-Fi, and it's just not there.
That's really shocking.
Yes, it is. It's really bad. And with that, what we also try to do, that hands-on invites, let everyone know what's going on. We do robocalls in our community with those who do have the cell phones or house phones still. And more so of trying to make sure that we are in the faces of individuals so they know what's going on and being repetitive about information. You may have heard me, most of you, I would say, are those are individuals who are engaged with community commission meetings and conferences. You are there. I see very many familiar faces. But what we do, just being repetitive, we go out, we ask the presidents to go out and share this information. So we have a lot of boots on the ground. So this is something, if you're trying to get information out about an event, the earlier, the better. And we have annual events. So that's one of the things, well, we the city, we got neighborhood day coming up. We know that. We knew that since last year. Okay, so it's no reason to wait 3 weeks out and say, hey, remember, it's neighborhood day. So that's something we're already talking about in District 3, hoping that those who are available will have the opportunity to come out and be a part of what's going on. But I would say, as far as getting information out, what we call old school tradition, that still works in District. Okay, all right. And also what I invite others to do, everyone does not work. We have individuals who are retired. We invite them. They come on. We're trying to do a caravan. My husband, he's like the pickup man. He'll pick them up in the van. Let's go. And that's anywhere in the district. And if you're familiar with my district, far north as Mills Pond, okay, far south is Riverland Road. So what my goal is to make sure everyone in the district is heard and they have an opportunity. So I am, my home is in the Six Trunk community. So I'm in the core, I'm in what we consider to be the core and the center, but I do recognize that that's not the be all, starting to be all of District 3. I have a whole community, I have 15 communities that we have to make sure has all. Hey there, Christine Jones, how you doing?
I'm good.
You have a question?
Now, I want to add to what the commissioner has already said, because I'm one of those retirees. I look online, I follow the stuff that's going on. I share that information with other homeowners associations within District 3. While I do not represent a lot of that matter anymore, but I'm still a resident of the city of Fort Lauderdale in District 3, and I'd be damned if I won't tell the rest of the people what's going on.
Amen.
That's my job. That's my job. You're right. A lot of people work,
Yes.
so they can't attend meetings and stuff, but I'm a voice. I don't care who tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Madam President, would you kindly please ask the other civic presidents and representatives from District 3 to stand up and identify themselves?
Okay, that's a good idea. So
Yeah.
everybody that's a district president or representative, please stand up. Here we go.
Hey, hey, hey.
Names. So Brian.
Yes, sir.
Say your name, please.
My name is Cheryl Dickey. I'm representing Home Beautiful for Terra Tragic.
Yes.
My name is Dadley Phileas, representing Dorsey Riverbend Civic Association.
My name is Frankie Lane. I represent Rock Island Homeowners Association, District 3 Representative for the
It's our
council.
Okay, good.
And also, Mr. O'Brien.
Michael O'Brien, I'm on the Sunset Civic Association, I'm
Yes.
president, but.
All right, all right.
Yes.
Very good.
You have a hand.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I don't know.
I think she's referring to me.
Yes,
Okay.
Estelle Brennan, I'm president of Riverside Park, which is in District 4.
yes.
And kind of abuts District 3 very closely. But I was just curious, that was a great exercise, thank you, Michael. But I was gonna say, if there's any engagement from the other districts, some of us leaders that have been around for a while, if there's new leaders in District 3, like I know I'm willing to help talk and help people navigate the city in District 3. I know it was really hard 9 years ago when I got started to kind of learn ins and outs and stuff. And, you know, I'm happy to give my name and number as a resource. No question is a silly question. And yeah, I just wanted to offer that or see how other districts and leaders can help District 3 flourish in that regard, since, you know, you guys need a little bit of help.
Well, what I can say regarding that, thank you, first of all. The communities that are active with the civic associations, we have presidents that are like longevity. And they've been in place and they have a strong running machine that they're operating with. What I am encouraging them to do is to be a part of this organization.
Right.
So I am pushing towards that. Again, we have those who are presidents doing dual roles and they may not be able to fit the time slot here. But yes, like Dillard Park, Mr. Ray Jordan, been in the seat for a long period of time. Ms. Elijah, you know, from Lauderdale Manor, she's been in her position for a while. So I thank you for that. But most of them that are operating have been there in a moment and they're doing things. And I'm like, I go back when I was HOA president for Dorsey. Commissioner McKenzie kept urging me to come and be a part of what was going on. And when I did that, that opened more doors than I realized. You know, you're running your little engine in your little bubble and you think you got it and you really need that assistance with the unity. So thank you, and I will share that as well. Yes.
Are they aware, you're on the pressures, are they aware of the website for the council? We're trying to post a lot of stuff there, sometimes it's overwhelming. People get too many emails.
A little louder, please, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
We can't hear you.
Can't
Please
hear me?
speak up. Thank
I
you.
asked the question, if all the presidents were engaged from a technical standpoint, go to the council's website and constant contact, because that's our primary means of communication to people. So I wanna make sure that those people, they may be on the distribution list, but I wanna make sure that they're aware that that's a good avenue to receive information.
All right, I can't answer that. I do know when we have pre-agenda meetings, I do give that as resources. So that part I can attest to. I can't say if they're actually going on, signing on and taking advantage of what's being shared. Too many emails. I'm guilty of that. We email everything that we can. So with that being said, yeah.
Had a meeting there?
I'm sorry, what?
If we had maybe a meeting in the district?
What do you think we did? We had our neighborhood, I mean, we had the candidate forums there.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So
The why.
the thing is.
One of the socials. Excuse me, Commissioner, this gentleman here, would you please stay, he's with communications in District 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
So, you know,
what's going on right now, I just got on to help build a website, design things to educate what's going on in as far as the community, they are doing a lot. And from what you say, I think bridging and connecting, which is one of the reasons I've kind of been sent, is to see how we all could connect and really help progress and engage what they are doing already, because they are active.
Yes.
It's just, how do we now bridge it? So we are.
We need you, come on board.
Yeah, definitely.
All right?
And at any time, you can have a meeting where Home Beautiful meets, which is at the Midtown Commerce Center.
Thank
Okay, so
you.
what, I'm sorry?
Midtown Commerce Center,
Right on Sistrunk.
Right on the
Yeah,
heart of
it's right on
Sistrunk,
Sistrunk.
that's
right
right.
on Sistrunk,
All right, I know where
that I owned.
All right.
It's a CRA initiative, so it is, and it has been. There's something that with our particular homeowner association, Home Beautiful,
Yes,
it is predominantly rental
yes.
units. And what we need is for, and I'm saying this because Susan, not to put you on the spot, but the Fort Lauderdale Housing Authority needs to become more engaged in, when I grew up and I lived in the projects, there were tenant councils for those units. And they were active then. And then we could then be active with them, but there is none. And it's very hard to penetrate, because we've done door to door. Tara and others would be walking around. It's very hard to penetrate the rental units. And it's predominantly that.
Yes, and Home Beautiful, yes.
So we need help with that.
Susan has noted that. We'll,
Yeah.
yes.
Making notes.
take-
Could you explain, what is the problem with the broadband and why is broadband not accessible? Is there something, is it
Fiber.
technical, is it?
Non-existent?
Well, okay, non-existent, is there something we
Non-existent
could do, is there
Um,
something? the city-
this
Did
is-
everybody hear that question?
They're,
Okay,
the
the-
go ahead, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I was gonna say, the question is, what is wrong with the broadband, the internet in
Yeah.
District 3? And I've heard this for quite some time.
Yes, it's been
going
going
on
on
for
for
quite
quite
some
some
time.
time.
Well, the way no, I'm gonna say it the way it's been explained to me.
Okay,
The bigger, service providers,
okay.
they provide powers for their, customers. A lot of the majority of the customers in District 3, they may use Metro, they may use, Boost, they may use Cricket, but those particular services do not have their own tower. So they rent from the big brand tower. So they're getting we're getting the crumbs. So it doesn't go as far because they're only getting a portion of what's being offered. So there's no, the service is not provided, but there are some conversations that we're having to try to bring it into the community in the district. But we are on the outskirts of those 5 new towers. So we get just the rentings of what's being.
Well, how does like AT&T and Comcast, are those strong in District 3? I'm just kind of curious.
That's,
No.
No,
Business.
okay.
that's it. Before I say that, I saw what you.
Oh, yeah, Rick.
Well, I just have a question because part of the president's infrastructure bill was to fund the expansion of broadband. And my question is, did the city apply for a grant to do that? Because it was to bring broadband to communities
Mhm.
where broadband didn't exist.
I'm gonna ask Susan to help me with that question because when I came in, we were in the middle of COVID in a sense, right? And this is when it really came to light what we did not have. Because our students were in front of libraries, sitting outside of McDonald's or wherever they could to get connectivity. Okay, so this is when it became a obvious problem. But Susan, if you would share what we have done as far as the infrastructure opportunity grant.
And just so everybody knows, this is Susan Grant, our acting city manager. So I think probably most of you know that, but just in case.
Good evening. So it's been on our to-do list for quite some time and we follow up. As far as the grants, I don't think the window for applying
has closed and it's been on our list of things to do. So we're very actively looking at what we can do to rectify that situation.
Terrific. And
Commissioner, Susan, no disrespect to you, I've been here a long time, even living in the neighborhood. Several managers ago kept saying that we were gonna get this expanded, maybe 2 or 3. So waiting for this to happen, I remember when they redid Dixie Port,
Yes.
they were supposed to be expanding the internet or broadband. We have had nothing for years. My son is 30 years old. And this subject has come up many times. Pam and I live a few doors away from her. She and I have literally talked on the phone and disconnected. She can't come out her door, I can't come out mine to speak on the phone. This has been going on a long time. This is not a new subject. So when I hear that it's being applied for, it exposed itself so bad during COVID, when the kids could not get anything to do their work. Right. It was very sad in District 3, very sad. I remember that.
okay, Estelle.
Is there any way, cause like I'd imagine the schools use some of the larger providers, is there a way to go the academia route to expedite something like adding broadband in, like if it's affecting like students and their ability to learn, that maybe there's an avenue there where if academics are being affected by the lack of the speed, that there'd be more of a push or need for these bigger carriers to expand and not just be like, hey, the customer base isn't there. And it's like, hey, you guys are not letting the kids learn. Like, maybe there's just throwing it out there to brainstorm that maybe there's an academic outlet there. Don't get me started on that.
What you say makes much sense.
No,
Okay, but the reality of it, it has not happened. I'll say it that way. Conversations have ensued, even from the point from our HOAs, we have band together to try to get what we've needed. And the process with the city again is applying for grants and
what
we're
about
trying-
going to the county school board and saying it's affecting academics and the students here? I'm sure there's a lot of people in this room that would be happy to go and speak to the school board and maybe go that avenue as well.
Also, before we had Zoe Saunders. Zoe was speaking with us, that was a route we went at the time.
It was.
And then you have to remember how many superintendents ago? Okay, so when we say how many city managers ago, how many superintendents ago, you're looking at that same blockage that's preventing us from getting beyond that, I'm gonna let you answer. I don't wanna correct your meeting.
We do seem to burn through people. I hear you, that's okay. We're gonna take a few more, go ahead, and then I'll get you, JJ.
Hey, a recent provider I learned of is on Starlink, that's District 3. Residents of District 3 started using Starlink or tried to use Starlink before. It's like the Elon Musk internet that's in the satellite internet.
I know nothing about that. So what you're bringing to me is, please share with me what you're talking about. A little more, yeah, tell me what you know about it now.
Cause I'm a landlord, so I have a property in Central Florida, and Central Florida is hard to get utilities for, and one of the things is internet, so I did some research. And they are now covered by Starlink, so Starlink's being used globally by Elon. He has like a bazillion satellites in the air. He's the one for providing internet in Ukraine and Los Angeles right now. So he's able to reach everywhere. So I would imagine I'm imagining there should be a District 3 option for Starlink. I didn't apply for this service myself, but it was a provider in Central Florida, so I imagine it's a provider here. And there's no like underground infrastructure, it's all satellite. Yeah.
It's all satellite.
They used it in North Carolina after the hurricane.
Yes, I'm listening.
They used Starlink to satellite internet after the hurricane in North Carolina.
Okay, let me just ask, Bill, when you were in North Carolina with FEMA, are you aware of them using Starlink for like
Yes,
cell
that's what
phones
they
and
did.
stuff?
They brought the service in, gave it to them, their mobile units, and I think first 90 days were free. And then there was some pushback that people couldn't afford it after 90 days, so they extended it, I think, 6 months. But there is a fee to use it. And,
Starlink.
and to Dr. Pittman's point about the big fiber firms, they'll lay it, but they want the revenue from the customer service base, and that's what the customers of that district can't afford, those $100 a month internet fees.
Okay,
Okay.
And the problem isn't just on our side, it's also on the companies that are providing the service, because I know I live in Idlewild, and for at least the last 10 years, we've had a problem every single year with boat show. And the more boats, I'm sure some of the other neighborhoods that have marinas that are full, the more boats you bring in with them all using the internet, the more calls that are dropped, the more connectivity that's lost. So, and we have had an ongoing conversation. We've had a number of people who've gone through at AT&T on that side to say, can't you do something about this? And the first guy said, well, we're putting up another tower. Bill, you might,
The cow,
they had
they
additional
call them
towers
cow,
over on
okay.
the beach, yep.
Yeah.
And they say, well, this is gonna take care of the problem. Well, it doesn't. So it's not just, that's a huge issue for District 3, but it's also a problem in hotspots around the city, I would think, too.
and as I recall during COVID, didn't, school buses that had internet that they kind of like parked around District 3, or was that, did I dream that?
I'm not familiar with that.
All right, we're gonna have, one more question, no, two more questions, JJ and then Barbie, and then that'll be it.
So I'm originally from Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a very much an underserved area, North Philadelphia and other areas in Philadelphia. What the city did in Philadelphia is they created what's called Philly Community Wireless, Link PHL, Affordable Connectivity Program, and PHL Connect EV, 4 different programs. Some of these programs were actually quite easy. The city realized that their citizens or part of their citizens couldn't afford it. So what they did is on top of the lights, where they redid the lights, they put wireless antenna for not Wi-Fi, but there is a broadband Wi-Fi equivalent. And they went to school-age children and provided them access codes so they could access that free Wi-Fi. And that helped tremendously in Philadelphia as far as the underserved areas. Because now it was no longer dependent on the providers, it was really the city and the school district that worked together to make these things happen. And that could easily be expanded even, to our tourism industry, that people could purchase access on the city wireless network for a week at some cost to them, and that would also help pay for the services. So I mean, there are
Can you send
creative
me
ideas.
those providers, can you send that to me?
Oh, it's on the internet. I mean, I have it pulled up right now. I couldn't remember this. I looked it up. I can share it with you.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Don't remember.
How did you search for it?
Okay.
Well, you just search for it, Philadelphia
Philadelphia.
free internet. Yeah. I mean,
Philadelphia free
Yeah,
internet.
I have it. It's free and low cost internet.
Okay. And Barbie, go ahead. You might have to stand up. You're little.
Well, it's, anyway, I remember when in the neighborhood, there was a loss of connectivity and they put a temporary state cell towers, whatever, mobile cell tower things. Can't they do something like that, mobile cell tower spots within the community, or no? I don't know if that makes sense or
Well,
not.
I don't, that would be through the provider is what you're saying, right? So I'm not familiar with that, but in my opinion, we're back at the mercy of what the providers are willing to provide in the area.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm making note of that.
Okay, well, it's just a thought if they
Thank
have. Can
Okay,
help.
the very last question, and I'm sure this has been a long day. Marilyn, go ahead.
Just a comment and then a question. I know Starlink is available, and it's a big bid on the contract on the okay. And they were a little more expensive than the carrier we were using, but service is amazing what they, the content of their services, I know they're here and they're available. And what it probably would take somewhat having a consortium, because they're very expensive. So the city would have to be the middleman and then the city would have to provide. I know physically you can do it.
Okay.
Actually, I have a different question,
Go ahead.
even though I hate to open up a whole nother conversation. But the city is gonna be having, the commission is going to be having their goal setting workshop very shortly. Can you elaborate on what your thoughts are on what the goals should be for 2025?
Let me, well, sit down.
Who's got notes? All right, that's great.
You gonna make me pull out my, put the cat out the bag before the day of.
Uh-oh.
I believe, of course, economic development. I believe, providing jobs that are also skilled labor jobs. We have had the opportunity to connect with the federal government through the infrastructure, bill, which is called Good Jobs, Great Cities. And, it was a scholarship opportunity. I had attended, National Leagues of Cities Conference, 2 years ago. And this was one of the, conversations, that particular conference, it was, Jill Biden who came and explained this opportunity. And she went down this whole category of what great jobs, good jobs, great cities was all about. And it was a lottery system, so we had to put in an application for it. And we were awarded the opportunity. So right now, through the city, through Daphne Sanville's office, we are orchestrating and putting this together, bringing in vocational schools, the high schools, some of the other organizations. There's about 9 of us at the table. But the goal is to be able to introduce labor jobs to those who may not have an interest of going to college. And these are things that we need, okay? Also knowing that within our city, we need individuals for these types of jobs as well. So beginning at a point where we can, in a sense, have a internship training and then having individuals that we can move into employment. Okay, so that is one of the things that that I'm proud of, because I was there, I brought it back, and I always tell this, and I'll say it again from the dais, when I brought it back, dais was silent, nobody wanted to move forward on it. And I told Greg, I said, Greg, make this happen. And we moved forward on it. So that was my baby. I'm taking all. And then what I say about the economic development, establishing opportunities for the small businesses. We know that the pandemic, COVID, brought out that entrepreneur spirit in all of us. We all began to tap back into our skills. And there's so many people that are willing and wanting to do a small business again. And we don't necessarily have a true incubator system for it. We just started a new program called Step Up. I'm not as familiar with it as I should be, but I'm looking for the city to really go deep.
Okay.
I want the city to be able to even add monies to it to encourage people to do this, because if we walk them through the process, make sure that they get from A to Z, then we, the city, will have a whole new opportunity of productive businesses. And that's what we want to have, that longevity. So that is one of the things I'm gonna be talking about. Of course, whenever I get the opportunity, I talk about extending the CRA, because I believe that is something that we definitely need to do regarding District 3. When the CRA began 25 years ago, I was a young person with little children, and I would just give my copies to my HOA president. And we came to a conclusion that it would be better at that time if we started on the east side, let the revenue grow and then come back west. Okay, it's time to come west, even though the time has, we need to, you can't stop now because the time is coming to an end. So I'm gonna be presenting my thoughts with that and the points that we need to make to get everybody on board. And I believe that we can, with the right strategy, and we have enough great minds through the city to negotiate with the county to be able to move forward. I know we're not gonna get everything because, you know, the city, the county, they want their money now, but we can still get a great benefit out of it. And then, of course, talking about police safety, those things, public safety, infrastructure, we all have that across the city with different infrastructure issues. And then education is issue that I'm really concerned about, being more engaged as well with, our school board. Make sure that we're moving forward and every child, no, they like to say, no child left behind, no child left behind.
Impressive achievement, impressive.
Okay, well, not gonna, no more questions, thank you. We really appreciate you coming. You're our first commissioner of the year. Oh. Trying to get everybody. Appreciate it, and you know, over the years, I would see her and I would see what she has on. Now, she has quite a wardrobe. It's a date right now and I get no why, but I would see her and I go, you know, that would look good on me.
She's told me that also.
Once in a while, she'd say it to me, oh, Mary. Yeah, not very often, so, listen, thank you so much. And thank you, Wayne, for bringing her here and taking such good care of her. We appreciate you too. So, you guys have a nice night and
Can I get a group picture? Everybody face this way or something?
a picture. Who do you want?
You know it's not real, it's just a picture, right?
Oh,
But thank you everyone for.
oh, you take that from right there.
You're gonna get everybody? What about the people on the side?
Yeah.
He's IT, he knows what's going on.
Tell them they know what's going on here.
She's gonna do a video.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and we'll take one more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
Y'all be blessed.
So.
That's the Tammy, right?
And then. Productions.
It does not.
Okay, Jim, you have to let Commissioner or Doctor go.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, right, yeah, good to see you again. Right here.
Party girl.
I don't know what you're saying about it.
Okay.
The photo of her jumping out of an airplane.
Okay.
Yeah, she has one.
Y'all come over here.
I did not know that fun fact.
Get in the picture.
Oh, come on in. Come on in.
Waving.
Come on. That way, that's right.
My rib, okay, okay.
On 3, 2, 1. For the road.
All right.
In Philadelphia really put like their best foot forward. If you look here, and that's the one I saw as well. Yeah. Affordable connectivity. Yeah. And there are several programs as little as $10 a month. And especially for Lauderdale, they can.
Okay,
Buy, access.
Can everybody? Really a very loud bell. Always been disappointed. Gonna walk around.
Quiet, please.
Please be quiet. We have our next presenters. Thank you all know her from Neighborhood Support. And I don't think many of you know, Tori, I will see you. Okay, so I'm gonna let you introduce yourselves and go right ahead.
Yeah, Louisa Agathon, great to see so many smiling faces. Happy New Year. We also with us is George Hirschka in the
Oh,
back.
there's George.
George needs no introduction because he knows it. And then Jordan. So Jordan, if you want to say a couple things about yourself.
If you reach out to neighbor support, 548-285-0003, I'm usually the one you're gonna get. Any emails to neighbor support, I'm responding to them, or you can call me at my extension 7595. I'm more than happy to route out any concerns you have. If the get you in touch with the right people.
With neighbor support, we're your city community connectors, and we here have a couple of announcements in regards to events. To start off, just right around the corner, we have United Day, which was announced by the commissioner. So George is having us and you all as neighbors come together on United Day at Provident Park at 8:30 on Monday, January 20th, for you to go out and do some cleanup around the area, do some community activities. So be on the lookout for that. Right across from the LA Lee YMCA, Provident Park, starting at 8:30 for registration. So we look forward to seeing you there.
So you said January 20th?
January 20th, Monday.
It's the MLK.
Yeah,
Oh,
MLK.
all right.
And then the other program, Jordan, if you want to talk about it.
Neighborhood recognition program, we sent out the initial emails to whoever already registered to do your renewals. The application is open now until March 1st, so be sure to put in your applications. We have some more flyers up in the front, let's give you one. And if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call at Neighbor Support or myself, 759. Thank you.
Yeah, so
And that form is also available online.
it is online, yep. So it's all electronically, but if you.
So you have to do that.
Don't we need to?
Yes.
Is this for young people?
Yes, so that's a way for us to know who the presidents are, if any contact information change.
Nothing has to change, you still need to give.
Yeah, it would be good for us.
And to be a member of the council of Fort Lauderdale Civic Association, you have to fill that out and be a recognized civic association and have to be on the city's website.
Yeah.
Pay your dues.
Yes, yes.
Do you have a problem with us just dropping in and spending an evening with your leadership training, just to see what's?
So the next, Neighbor Leadership Academy, which is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
We haven't set the dates, but it's gonna be in the fall. I think you reached out to us because you wanted to see there were some changes in department directors, maybe for one day. But it's a tight room and it's a tight agenda, so that's the only thing that we push back on, but you know how to get in contact with us, Percy.
And Bill.
Madam President, I don't know if this falls under neighborhood support, but the app of Fix It. It'd be helpful, I think, now we're 6 months into that program. Hear about the successes, some of the pitfalls and some statistics, because I hear positive things. People are happy, they get responses back. And I think the more we can learn about that and tell our neighborhood associations, instead of using the phone now, the ones in the neighborhoods that don't have the connectivity, I understand that's a problem they can call. It does work very well because I've used it several times. And I think we need to get the message out even more, or are we at the max with
I think, I'll work with you, Mary, it's our development services team. They manage the C-Click Fix / Fix It FTL, it's the same thing. We also respond to some of those inquiries as well. So we can get with you so that they
That'd be
can
great.
come and visit and share with you some of the stuff that they're working behind the scenes as well. It's really impressive what they're doing.
Yeah, because I'm hearing some impressive numbers, and I think it'd be through this group to everyone know that.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
That is a third party, right? It's not city.
Correct.
The app.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. We've made several reports on Fixit regarding streetlights out in our community. And we're still waiting. So I understand that that's FPL, but I guess what I'm wondering is the city doing anything to monitor
Well,
FPL?
Rick, why don't we get the Fix It people in here and we can ask them about that.
Okay, all right.
And last but not least, happy to announce we have Neighbor Support Night coming back, or still here. It's gonna be at the City Hall parking garage, so although we don't have a physical City Hall, we're still here, we're happy to serve you. So our theme is Swing Home Fort Lauderdale. We look forward to seeing you there. Please help us spread the word with your HOAs. We left some flyers in the back. If you need some more, let us know. We'll be happy to provide you with flyers. And as always, we're happy to have the council there with us.
Sure.
And,
And please send us that in a PDF form, we'll print it out, we'll put it on, Instagram too. So,
okay, sounds great. Thank you all.
all right, that's great. Okay, and then next. We have Karen. And where I know you're there, she is, and I think she has a program. Oh, do we do it ourselves right here?
Jordan was helping me.
Okay, okay.
Good evening, everyone. From those of you who don't know me, my name is Karen Warfel. I'm the Transportation and Planning Division Manager. I do have with me Kristen Thompson, who's the acting deputy director right now, next to Susan.
Right, okay, yeah, why don't you stand up, so I don't think everybody's quite, there you go, okay.
Yeah, you don't get to see her face as much as mine. But she is like my counterpart in the transportation division to getting all your dreams done. She's the important one that gets the projects done. So Mary asked me to come and talk about what's on tap for the transportation department this fiscal year. For those of you D4 presidents who got the memo through Commissioner Sorensen about what's just D4, just imagine this is times 4. So like Marilyn said, there's a lot going on. So I'm gonna go really fast, high level, just so you get an idea of the types of projects we work on and what we're doing. So I'd like to set the stage of who are we and what do we do? We were created out of the 2035 vision plan process that established that we are connected. So we didn't exist 13 years ago. We were created just to accomplish that goal. So really creating the new capacity, transportation connectivity, that's all of what we do. And everything goes back to these goals and initiatives in our strategic plan. And then who are we and how do we do that? We are an interdisciplinary department. We're made up of planners like myself, and we have district planners, transit planners, engineers, and project managers that all work together and kind of, this is our SOP, kind of our operating procedure of how things go through at the bottom. We work with all of you as planners to understand what the challenges are and your vision is. Then we identify possible solutions with our engineers and colleagues. Then we work on identifying funding, either CIP funding or grant funding, work with partners. It's not just all our streets, there's other people we have to work with too, using other people's money, implement projects. And then we do have transit too, that a lot of times I may miss and forget because I'm not actively involved in that anymore. But we do have our own community bus service that I'll talk about a little bit later. And then signals, which aren't ours, but we influence and try to encourage that movement a little bit better through that as well. So I'll walk through some of our project examples that are happening this year. Planning projects I'll start with, construction, and then some of the partner ones that I talked about. So the big hot one right now for us, super excited, we have a commission presentation on the 22nd. Please stay tuned, watch it. We've been working with you all for the last couple of years, come to you a couple times about it, sidewalk master plan. So this is filling gaps, not maintenance or any other issues, but filling gaps. So we have about 500,000 miles of sidewalks currently. We have 437 missing if we were to put sidewalks on both sides of every street. We know that's not feasible or practical, a whole array of issues. But if we were to do every street, both sides, that's $190 million of need. It's a lot of money. So we've broken it down, and when you watch the presentation next week, you'll learn how we went about that using your input here and other community input to create that prioritization, which breaks it down into those pretty colors. So stay tuned. We're also doing an urban core master plan, Blackwood Village and Downtown Neighborhood Association. We're gonna be working on that, you know, the blessing and the curse of development. There's some great projects happening, making beautiful right of way and all this extra space that us in transportation never get to use. But then there's gaps and missing things, and there's so much going on, how do you keep track? So this initiative is just kicking off. We're doing some data collection, and we'll be coming out to the community on that when we get to be a place and identifying what are those missing gaps to be able to reach the commission priority of previously of not having to use a car in downtown and be able to move safely through that. So that's the main thing of that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, what's an influence area and
Sure, so the main core area is the downtown regional activity center, so basically Flagler downtown neighborhoods. But around that, you can't just draw those lines, so to and from those areas is important as well. The main focus is gonna be that dark green.
Got it.
But we'll look kind of the tertiary around there and how people get to and from that area as well, and are there some things we can do to make that better? And then, as I mentioned, it's not just about us, but we participate in regional activities. This is a huge project that we've been involved in and will have great impacts for the city. Our regional transportation agency that oversees all the transportation dollars from the federal government, we participate in. You have two commissioners, the mayor and Commissioner Sorensen sit on the board. Myself and a colleague sit on the technical advisory. There's also a community advisory board, part of that. If anybody's interested, there are openings, so speak to your commissioner about that as openings to understand what's going on regionally. They got a $5 million planning grant to look at the county as a whole safety wise and how to reduce serious and fatal injuries. City of Fort Lauderdale alone, not counting the highway, we have an average of 40 fatalities a year. People who are killed by cars, so something needs to be done, that's not acceptable, so how do we change it? Partnering in this, and this all, what I do, I said, how can we do plans that set us up for funding to do implementation? So all these opportunities, they looked at Northside Elementary School. How can we improve safety to Northside Elementary School? There's some neighborhood intrusion. They look at, cities across the county. They picked historic Dorsey River Bend. You all have a lot of people cutting through your neighborhood just to get through. So how can we address that and improve safety? And then they did 4 corridor studies that somehow either are in or touch Fort Lauderdale. I put them up here. For those neighborhoods, you'll be seeing stuff come from Public Information Office and from myself. We'd love to have the community come out to those meetings about what are some safety improvements for the corridor. They're gonna share their recommendations. So Sistrunk, Northwest 31st Ave, I saw Donna here. 7th, so Melrose Park area and Broward Boulevard, so those are all the areas. The QR code, and I'll share the presentation with Mary after. The QR code is to add any comments you might have on those corridors if you do as well. One-way pairs, we do a whole variety of things, so this is more functionality and moving of cars. We received money from surtax as one of our funding sources, and this is a big partner project. I know they had a meeting previously, and there'll be one coming soon about how that's working out and the feasibility of going to one-way pairs. Vision Zero, I talked about the safety, so the city has a Vision Zero plan, but it's pretty old. So we were excited to get money from USDOT, the Safe Streets for All grant for ourselves to update our plan and look at corridor safety studies and corridor concept vision plans. So we're gonna be working on that this year. And then I'll transition into construction. We have both small and large construction projects. A lot of you are familiar, just the small projects mean so much for your neighborhoods. The speed cushions, pavement markings is a newer project we've started getting into, and speed radar signs. So that's a lot of what we do. Kristen and I we were talking about this today, creating the work program for 2025. You'll see what most of you who've been this list, you should have gotten some notice or will be very shortly on the implementation of speed cushions for this fiscal year. But you'll see the need, and we have a lot of need out there as well. There's 40 locations just waiting for their studies to be done. 59 have already been awarded or met the criteria of the city ordinance, but are just waiting for funding. We have $100,000 a year. And when you multiply.
This year, just
Two this
FYI,
year,
we
yeah.
doubled the budget.
Yes, we're very excited for that. So we're just looking at how much further we can make it go. But just one piece on that picture is $3,250. So it's still expensive, even though it's much cheaper than some of the other things we can do, but we're excited about the additional money and being able to go further this year. Speed radar signs, for those of you who have speed radar signs, you may have noticed a lot of them sometimes break and are getting older. Some have issues of ants surprisingly really enjoy those speed radar signs, so pest issues, but some of them are not as Wi-Fi adaptable and on the cloud. So we've been working this year and last year to update the ones that are not functioning. Karen, there's a lot on Bayview Drive, like those were all not working at one time. So we're updating those and getting those done as well. And a newer project I don't think I mentioned, we usually do new capacity, but we've taken on some of the pavement marking work that Public Works had done previously, but from a safety lens, all goes back to how do we make things safer? So pavement markings, when the bottom is Croissant Park, we were looking at crash data and we saw there was an abnormally high amount of crashes at this intersection. Why is that happening? We went out, there was no stop bars, that stop sign was blocked by the landscaping next to there. So it really does come back to safety. So we've done a good number over the last couple of years of the neighborhoods in gray, the whole neighborhood, doing neighborhood wide. I think Lake Ridge was the first neighborhood we started this with, and they actually did the inventory themselves.
Thank you.
Lynn walked around
Thank you very
back in the
much.
day, did the
Thank you.
inventory themselves. So now we're working through the rest of them, and the red ones are this year's work program. So we're excited to keep moving through that and do some more, especially the center yellow lines, which some of you have, we just did one in Victoria Park that really help with the safety. So we're gonna use some of that extra money to do some more of those to help calm some of the traffic in those neighborhoods. And then there's a whole bunch of others, the not those three programs. There's a lot of Middle River Terrace, we're doing some traffic calming. There's a whole bunch of different projects that might be a little bit more Sunrise Intercoastal, those decorative signs are great until you need to change them, and then we need full county approval and full engineered plans just to change a sign. So we're working on that, and we're able to cobble together money here and there, and those plans hopefully are going into the county very, very soon. So we're able to do that. So there's a lot of different things. Riverside Park, working on some of the implementation stuff. We're excited about that in the budget this year too. I mentioned transit. We have transit. We do a lot of things in transit, very multi-mode for our transit system. It's very cool. The micro transit, the water taxi, the little buses that we're able to do. The surtax really has been transformational for our transit system. We are gonna be entering into like kind of a relook planning of the transit system, looking at the routes and seeing if we need to make some changes and relook at that soon. That contract's being worked on now. And an exciting thing is we are expanding commission approved additional funding for the micro transit system. That little car there is the prototype for the Northwest neighborhood. There is going to be a ribbon cutting. Stay tuned. That should be coming out soon on January 30th at Oswald Park for that new service in District 3. We're super excited about that. And putting this together, when I did the D4 admin staff or the commissioner staff is here, and I put it together, try to get them up to speed on what was going on in D4. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And then Mary asked me this one, I didn't realize what I was undertaking to put it all together. It's a lot. It's a little anxiety producing for us, putting it together, all the stuff we're working on this year. Yeah. So these are some of the actual construction hardscape projects. Tied with my exciting sidewalk master plan is infill. We have some money, commission has approved money already. We have surtax funding, we have special allocation from our operating budget, and then we have an earmark that was allocated from Lauderdale Manor. So we're super excited to be able to get started on that and design this year and implementing some of the old Q-alert stuff before C-Click Fix that you all have submitted from the neighborhoods of top requests. We're gonna start with those first. And then as we get direction from commission on the sidewalk master plan, continue through that. Northwest 15th Ave, another one, this one was when we did after the connecting blocks plan that was done after the vision plan of how we're gonna get there. This was the #1 project on our list, and the city allocated money for design, which we did pre-COVID. We applied for funding through surtax and were awarded it, and then COVID kind of stopped everything. So we've been waiting for all the agreements and processes that you have to go through county and grant funding to get there, but the contract bid is being negotiated now. It's expected to be before commission either February or early March. February is what we're aiming for. Hopefully, we'll be there and we'll be able to start that. It's a shared use path on one side, on the west side of the street, traffic calming, all for raised intersections, lighting, landscaping. And so to connect Carter Park all the way into Mills Pond Park, we were able to really connect to the sidewalk literally in Mills Pond Park. So it's super exciting project for here that we're able to do. other related to plans we've done with Tarpon River and Shady Banks. This money finally came up. We thought it was forever from 5 years ago and it's here. So we worked with the neighborhoods to do neighborhood mobility master plans, work with them on what their priorities were, applied for grants through the MPO. We're successful. These are coming to fruition as well. We've selected a designer. Once the designer contract is being negotiated now, once that's on board, we will reach out to the two neighborhoods, meet with the community again, double check, work on towards the design to get that. So we have design and construction funding. The construction funding is in a couple years out, but we're excited to get that one finally moving forward. Northeast 15th Ave.
Finally.
Finally, this one has
Thank you,
been
Jesus.
years and years and years, we've been applying for funding and having challenges with it. We were successful this year. We just found out in the fall that we were programmed for funding in FY '29. It's both Lake Ridge and Poinsettia Heights. It goes all the way to the South Fork of the Middle River. So to create more of a consistent path, add traffic calming, do hardscape where some of the soft stuff is now. We're gonna be doing community meeting with both the neighborhoods at the end of March to bring just the lines on the map, like the last thing, up to better design to be ready for that funding. The right turn lanes coming back at Northeast 13th Street to address some of the challenges. And we will be removing the planters that have had challenges for maintenance with that as well. So lots going on with that. Las Olas, of course, this was a several year planning process. The commission approved it in 2021. They allocated design funding. That design is about to start. One contract's been approved, the other one's going through the process. So design will start, and stay tuned for public engagement related to that this year. Breakers, a lot of these have been kind of going and we keep chugging along at them. Breakers is at 90%. There's been some challenges with funding. It's a very aspirational plan. So the staff has been working on that, getting it closer to budget. We got more allocations this year, so we're able to do more. They're looking at some alternatives to get it to be able to move forward sooner rather than later on that. And we should know more in the next 30 days on that one. We're going. Sunrise Lane, kind of the forgotten little business district, the corner of Sunrise and A1A, doing some streetscape work with them last year. And it's in design this year, so it'll be moving forward on what that will look like, and we learned lessons from Breakers, so it is not super aspirational, like everybody kind of wanted, but they said, well, let's start here. A little bit more minimalistic on improving sidewalks and landscaping and some public art in there as well on the back of the hotel there. I forgot. Riverland Road, for my Riverland Road folks. This as well as came out of another project where the community said bike lanes are great, but people are speeding too fast to even use them, put traffic calming, so the city allocated design funding for this project. We finished the design, and then the construction funding was expedited to this year. Very excited for that, so we are in the process of putting together the bid packet, so that will be in construction this year as well. It's raised intersections like Old Dixie Highway, but light, not as many as that. Here, and then some raised crosswalks as well where the mid-block crossings are. There is a huge speeding issue there. Residents on there are not exaggerating. And of course, Lauder Trail, another one that we've been working on. Sure, Kristen's super excited to get this one moving along. Design is at 90%, and we're anticipating that construction will start this year on the first segment, which is from the Flagler Greenway into Holiday Park. And that's kind of an initial concept on the top picture, just these beautiful walkways into the War Memorial area under the trees that are there. Almost. And then I talk about partner projects. We have a lot that we're working on with partners too. 17th Street Mobility Hub with Crescent Park and Poinciana Park. And creating more of a multimodal cross section through there, connecting to the passenger rail station that is gonna be just north of 17th Street. That's a partnership with the MPO. We partner with the FEC on hardening those crossings. How do you make it safer that cars are not trying to cut through wrongly? This is an example in it's I think 7th Street. So you'll see just 2 bars up. There really should be 4 to stop cars from coming the wrong way. So the project will do the 4. on that. So these are all projects that are gonna be in design and working through this year. The study of feasibility of underpasses of some of those major arterials and adding more delineators to the crossings that don't. So there's multiple projects going on at crossings, all throughout the city, county. A whole slew, I won't go through these. The county also does projects, some of the big ones, 19th Street, the community again asked for landscape median islands. They didn't want the project the county or the DOT was doing. The county committed to doing it, and that will be under construction this year. And a whole slew of other projects that the county is using surtax. And the bypass road is gonna be transformational, and the airport connector, all these things that are really cool that are moving forward all this year. And we coordinate with DOT as well, so some of these are community driven, so A1A and 27th and Park Towers, those were requests that came from the community. We asked DOT, they said, okay, sure, and those are going into construction this year. Some are just their maintenance and resurfacing as well, some bridges. The big one, Gateway intersection, that's going into design this year, so we're excited, that's moving forward and the vision we are super happy with. And Cypress Creek is another one, we're doing some shared use pass, and that's a multi-county DOT and us all, gonna do an amazing project up there in the end together. DOT is working on 1 million projects in our city, and I just wanted to throw this up there, not necessarily this year, but staff works on these for 5 years before when they go into construction, so saying what we want, doing design reviews, making sure we talk to the community on what those are, doing walk audits like in Flagler Village, asking for stuff and doing things like that to get the request from the community. So it's a lot of, so there. So walking quickly through, we're doing a lot just this year, and we look forward to continue to work with you on any of the other projects. To ramp it up.
Next meeting and do that again. Slower. We're gonna take just a couple of questions. Go ahead, JJ. I'll get you to.
So, well, thank you for the tunnel finally being finished. They spent millions of dollars on it, but I guess $30,000 for a pressure cleaning of the tunnel was not in the budget, right? Because the tunnel is filthier now than it has ever been in its entire history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Share with them. I know
The
they have like a
walls are
regular
like
cleaning
black, you
schedule,
don't even
so.
see the yellow anymore.
It's dirty.
I mean, come on, pressure wash the tunnel, it's not that big a.
Jackie.
Yeah, Karen, when do you anticipate beginning construction on the Southeast 15th Avenue, northbound, westbound movement at Broward?
Kristen, on that one, the
I think it's already
15th to
funded.
Broward, northbound.
Dual left turns
Dual
at
left.
Broward and 15th.
So that one, the design is completed. And we're just moving forward with packaging the solicitation package so it can go out to bid. So it should start
Oh, I thought I-
construction. Maybe takes us a while, so we'll probably be awarding a contractor by summer. Yeah.
Norby?
If we have potential projects in our neighborhoods, what's the best way to get it from an idea into an actual project?
To work with us on kind of creating that vision as a planner. You need your plan and your vision, then it's easier to ask for money once you kind of have it formalized and you have your community behind you.
So get a hold of Karen, get your people together. Send them.
Just thank you again for not only like all the time and effort you put into all of this and keeping it organized, but listening to every single little detail from all our neighborhoods and making it reality. Super quick question, Watergo, if we wanted to be included in that, I'm sure they're looking at it holistically, but we have that little commercial area in Riverside Park that I'd like to see put into that study. So would that just be an email to you? Or what would I do to?
Sure, yeah, you can send it to me and I can forward it to the appropriate party.
Marilyn.
In working with you on a number of local projects, in relationship with 17th Street, one of the recommended projects, was double lanes into I-595. We've been waiting for 5 years. Can you give me a sort of what's happening?
Yeah.
Southbound, 2 lanes into 595.
One of their big challenges has been the FEC and the rail line underneath.
That's what I keep
And
telling my husband, but he says it can't
it
be.
is, and the hazardous materials in the cars that they're putting under there. So they've told DOT you can't do construction over them. So they've been doing the negotiations with DOT on that. They have some right-of-way costs and things programmed in the work program, but it's still like construction's still way far out.
But there's enough room to do it without building additional bridges over the train.
I think they
You
still
can
have
go
to
the
do
other
some
way.
structural stuff they still need to do.
So that really is, it's a dead project.
No,
They
I don't
won't
think,
let
they
us
haven't
do it.
told me it's dead. It's still in the work program for
Yeah, I know.
DOT. They still have money allocated for right of way. I don't know if they're gonna have to buy rights for the rail area or what they have to do particularly, but it's still an active.
But if they won't let you put any construction, do any construction work by those tracks, you can't go over the tracks, go by the tracks. You gotta go the other way.
The tracks are like right. They go.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's, I don't wanna catch that, that's time, we'll call.
Yeah, we can.
And, go ahead, let's regulate it, Carol first, and then you.
Just a quick question about the micro transit. Brightline at one point was then offering their micro transit, I'm gonna refer to it, to come down Sistrunk, but it doesn't do that anymore. People at Arlick and other places have tried to do that because they take Brightline in Miami, et cetera, Palm Beach. And so is it possible, or will the new one that you just talked about for Oswald, will that come down Sistrunk? Can you get from Brightline, can something take you from Brightline, one of your microtransit units down Sistrunk in that whole area?
Kristen, the
I
D
can
three.
get the route, I can get the updated route for you. I don't have the details for the new route.
Okay. But if not, could that be a funding initiative that you would ask what Broward County for MAP money or something?
Yeah, and we do continually each year ask for more and more and more and more, so that can definitely be something in the future, and stay tuned with the route planning, master planning to do
Understood.
that. I
Okay.
know Mr. Lane has been asking for routes in his neighborhood for quite some time. And Frankie.
10 years.
Oh.
You mentioned some work on 19th Street from Power Line to 31st. We're not revisiting that bike path again,
No.
are we?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So if, I'm pretty sure you were at the meeting, when we had the meeting and the neighborhood said absolutely not for that. And everyone said, just please give us landscape medians that we've been asking for forever to slow cars, beautify, cut up some of that pavement. And the county commissioner and the city commissioner were there at the time, they committed to it, and that's what's being done. No bike lanes, just the landscape medians. I know they had a meeting a while ago. The landscaping piece of it is gonna come after. We weren't super happy with what they are proposing, so they're gonna come back out to the community to get your feedback on the landscape.
No roundabout, right?
No roundabout. Just like little Nepean Islands.
Okay.
Yes, I had to walk out unfortunately, but did you discuss Lauderhill Gold and any like improvements, changes that's coming?
Yes, there is expansion to District 3 for the Lauder Go, and there's gonna be, oop, wrong one. Expansion to that, and we will continue to expand it as we're able.
And
so.
no, Karen will send me this presentation and we'll put it up on our website because there's a lot.
So there's an expansion happening. We don't know all of the details of exactly where those routes are with the staff that's here. But there's gonna be ribbon cutting on January 30th at Oswald Park to kind of release all that. And there'll be flyers. Once the flyers are available, we'll be sure to send it to all of y'all.
Okay.
To participate.
I just one last
Just
question.
30 second. Will there be upgrades? Cause some of the shuttles have been little rundown. Thank you guys for providing them, but some of the shuttles are a little rundown, so are there any plans to upgrade the? I don't wanna sound like I'm complaining because it's a free service, but is that something you
We'll
guys?
share that, and we get those from the county. They provide it to us for like $10 a year as part of our program with them. But the other thing that would be important is we're about to start a planning process to look at the routes. So, you know, as a rider, to share with us once those come out, it'll probably be a little bit by the time they get the consultant on board and stuff, but again, we'll share through all of the resources into your association to participate in that and share your comments. Are there ways that we could add different routes? And we revisited probably about 8 years ago or so, we made some changes. So now's the time to do that again and look at routes. Do they make sense? Do they go to the places that you need to go to, or do they not, or they take too long and things like that. Will be great.
Okay, well, Karen. And. I mean, that was a lot. Okay, so we just have a really brief, council business meeting. The first thing is the nominating committee is, in progress now. They, reached out to some people already that, already in, positions, see if they want to, run again. Or, thank you so much. And, so that's one thing. So if you are interested in any of the positions, please let Marilyn or Dennis know, or let me know. If you don't know what all the positions are, our bylaws are on our website. You can look at what they all are. I encourage people to run for these positions. There's 3 of us that term out. That would be myself and Jim Concanon, and who is our correspondence secretary. And Melinda, who had to be a little early, is our treasurer. So we need some technical people. And so, right, and yeah, we'll train you, we'll mentor you. We won't just like walk over the bridge into the beach and never come back. So please reach out to the nominating committee. I really encourage you. If none of you are interested, maybe somebody in your civic association is, or you know somebody else in another civic association. That's terrific. That's terrific. Some of us are getting tired. So, I do have the treasurer's report. Again,
Michael.
I really think we actually have can I get everybody's attention? All right. We just have the last membership report was in November of $657.58. It's because people were reimbursed for Linda got reimbursed for our D&O insurance of $896. 4 membership payments totaling $39.30 were received. So doing all right. We have had I don't know that we've had any new members yet. You realize our membership year runs till the end of March. So by April 1st, we'll be looking for people to renew. And make sure that you get recognized by the city. Okay? And so, I mean, that's all I have. All right, so there are no questions. Oh, you have a report? Not yet. So, no other? Okay. Any other questions? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.
Started to wear off price. I know.
On the other side of my.
Right. Yeah, not there.
You know what, we.
Meet you next month.
Hey.